Hi, I'm Steve Sato with Sato and Partners, and I'm one of the co-chairs on the DMI Design Value Research Project track. My other co-chair, Rob Wallace, isn't here today, unfortunately, with Wallace & Church, and he will be continuing to work with us on this as we move forward. Someone that's been really crucial to the project is Debbie.
I'm Deborah Rozick, and I am project managing this project on behalf of DMI around design value. We'd like to take a few minutes to walk you through some of the work that we've done and where we're going to go from here.
And so what you'll see is we'll talk about this board first and this one second, and you can think of these as a map of the landscape for design and value in business today. So thanks, and we'll go into a little more detail on both of these.
Based on a design premise that we had in this project around being able to speak the language of business and use models that are familiar with people in the C-suite, what you see here is a framework that was originally developed by APQC, a consortium of over 300 companies, that basically is the skeleton for any kind of business, any kind of company. This being kind of the operating processes going from thinking about the value that you're going to be creating to delivering that value, and then all of these blocks down here are the areas that are what you think of as the back office, the infrastructure around your people, your processes, your capabilities, your infrastructure, your structure. And what we're doing is we're asking people today at the conference to help what we call put dots up. Black represents dots that are things that the design and the design approaches are regularly contributing to the business around, and orange are those areas that design and design contributions are occasionally contributing. And it's no surprise that you'll see that there's a lot of black dots around developing and managing the products and experiences, because that's, after all, where a lot of design came out of. But it's nice to see how pervasive design is starting to be in all aspects of the business. Now Steve will show you one of our other models.
So the second model is around what's your design organization's profile. Both of these are made so you can have conversations with your peers and with executives around the role that design is playing and how mature design is, in the case here, in the organization, where it is today and where you might want to take it. This framework is set up around two portions. One is around the Carnegie Mellon Capability Maturity Index, CMMI, which is used by many businesses today. And there are 5 levels associated with the organization's maturity. It's all based on process. The lowest level, we have organizations that have processes that are ad hoc. They're basically heroic efforts they're making around this. The next level up, there's a certain level of repeatability in those processes. They're not documented, but at least they're tracking things like budget, deadlines, and resource usage. And then we start moving towards things where things get defined around a process that's standardized. Something can be shared with someone new coming to a group or shared with another group that may want to adopt a similar process. This is where things become less sensitive around spectacular individuals making contributions. Up at the 4th level here, this is where processes are modified regularly based on feedback, people doing the process, as well as people can identify what's the main process and what are variations. And in the top level here, this is around where processes are proactively and continuously improved. That's where companies will look at the end products and figure out, when they see the weaknesses or defects in them, what they need to change further down in the process that they have, so in the future they prevent things like this. And coming across in this other direction, we have what the design function is used for to compete through. It's competitive when design uses a competitive tool. So under development delivery, design is used to compete through aesthetics or through functionality. And then we start getting an area where design function is used for driving change in the organization. Design as a connector, and that's a role where design is playing a role in bringing or cross-pollinating processes for design from one business to another, from design to another discipline like marketing. The next column over is how design as an integrator. This is where customer experience comes in a lot, in experience design, because customers want things typically that come from a bunch of different divisions or groups in the company, and the company will do its best to bring those together. Designers here are playing a role where they're helping coordinate, identify and coordinate what needs to be delivered. And finally, over here, its design function is used competitively for setting strategy for the organization or establishing new business models. So, some things you see here, the dots here are all based on different industries. The colors are based on different industries. And we've had a lot of people from manufacturing and various services participate in Angular Dots here at the conference over the past 2 days. And you can see this general trend from the upper left to the lower right. And what that's really showing is that there's higher levels of maturity around things around development delivery where design has traditionally been involved, and lower levels of maturity around strategy and business models. Finally, how this is really helpful in having conversations with management is you can profile where a design organization is today and show where a design organization needs to be in order to compete more effectively through design. And that gap shows where design needs to grow. So both of these are great maps for having conversations around design and to actually compare design between divisions, between companies, or even compare design with another discipline like marketing or engineering. So where are we going with all this? So the next steps we're taking in this is to take a more detailed look at what's here. This is very good at being able to understand where an organization is and have conversations about where it wants to go. What actions need to be taken, though, are still in question, and that requires an assessment. So we're looking at developing an assessment now that can plug into this, and it'll be something that can be available to all DMI members. And that assessment then will allow members to understand and benchmark where they are today and understand what next steps they need to take to get to where they want to here. So that's where we're going with this. And there's also further work around the other work we're doing with regard to where and how design is contributing to organizations, and that'll be done through further interviews and such. So thank you very much.